Good morning. As you look out your window and wonder what the weather has in store, have you ever thought about what's really driving those changes? Today we're going to explore one of the most important yet often misunderstood forces behind our weather: La Niña. La Niña is a major climate pattern that begins far away in the Pacific Ocean, but its effects are felt all the way here in the United States and across the globe. It's like a hidden hand, quietly shaping the weather you experience every day, from the rain that falls to the snow that piles up, or doesn't. Now, La Niña isn't a storm or a single event. Instead, it's a powerful force that works in tandem with its opposite, El Niño. Together they form what scientists call the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO for short. Think of ENSO as a giant climate engine, with La Niña and El Niño taking turns at the controls, each bringing their own unique weather patterns. Picture ENSO as a seesaw, constantly tipping back and forth. When La Niña is in charge, it tips the balance in a way that cools the central and eastern Pacific Ocean, setting off a chain reaction that changes weather patterns around the world. This isn't just a small shift, it can mean big changes for millions of people. Why does this matter so much? Because even a slight change in the temperature of the Pacific Ocean can send ripples through the atmosphere, shifting the powerful jet stream that steers storms and weather systems. This shift can decide whether your winter is snowy and cold, or mild and dry. This winter, La Niña is the main character in our weather story. It's the reason some regions brace for heavy snow and icy blasts, while others might see warmer temperatures or even drought. From blizzards in the north to dry spells in the south, La Niña's influence is everywhere. By understanding La Niña, we get a valuable heads up on what to expect in the coming months. Meteorologists study its patterns to make better forecasts, helping communities prepare for whatever weather may come their way. In this chapter, we'll break down what La Niña is, how it works, and what it means for your region. We'll look at the science behind it, the history of its impacts, and how it might affect your daily life this season. Will you need to dig out your heavy parka, or will a light jacket do the trick? We'll explore which areas are likely to be colder, which might be warmer, and where to expect more rain or snow. Understanding these patterns can help you plan ahead, whether you're traveling, working outdoors, or just trying to stay comfortable at home. So let's dive in together and get you prepared for whatever this winter brings. By the end, you'll know exactly what La Niña is, why it matters, and how you can stay one step ahead of the weather this season. Let's take a closer look at the fascinating science behind La Niña, a climate phenomenon that shapes weather patterns across the globe. To understand La Niña, we first need to simplify the complex interactions between the ocean and the atmosphere. Scientists and meteorologists spend years studying these patterns, using advanced technology and satellite data to track changes in the Pacific Ocean. Along the equator in the Pacific, powerful trade winds usually blow from east to west. These winds push warm surface water toward Asia, allowing cooler, nutrient-rich water to rise up along the coast of South America, a process known as upwelling. During La Niña, these trade winds become even stronger than usual. As a result, even more warm water is pushed westward, and the upwelling of cold water in the eastern Pacific intensifies. This leads to a larger area of cooler than normal ocean surface temperatures. This cooler ocean surface doesn't just stay in the water, it cools the air above it, setting off a chain reaction in the atmosphere. The temperature difference between the western and eastern Pacific becomes more pronounced, which affects wind patterns and cloud formation. Think of the Pacific Ocean as a massive fuel tank for the planet's weather engine. When La Niña is in play, it shifts the balance of that fuel, changing where clouds form, where rain falls, and even how storms develop. The effects ripple outward, influencing weather far beyond the Pacific. One of the most significant impacts is on the jet stream, a fast-moving river of air high above the Earth's surface. During La Niña, the jet stream is pushed farther north and becomes more wavy, which alters the path of storms and weather systems. This shift in the jet stream explains why the United States experiences such dramatic differences in weather during La Niña winters. The northern states often see colder temperatures and more frequent storms, while the southern states tend to remain warmer and drier than usual. In practical terms, this means more snow and ice in the north, and a higher risk of drought in the south. These changes can affect everything from agriculture to energy use, and even our daily routines. It all comes down to where the jet stream dips and rises, steering storms and shaping the climate across the continent. The position of the jet stream acts like a weather highway, guiding systems along new routes. So, La Niña is much more than just a patch of cold water in the Pacific. It's a global domino effect, setting off changes that can be felt on every continent. This Pacific seesaw reroutes storm tracks, influences rainfall patterns, and ultimately shapes the kind of winter we experience each year. It's a powerful reminder that our planet's systems are deeply connected, and that a shift in one part of the world can have far-reaching effects everywhere. So, what does La Niña mean for your thermostat? It's a classic north-south split. The north, think Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies, Northern Plains and Great Lakes, gets more cold air from the Arctic. Cities like Seattle, Minneapolis and Chicago should expect more bundling up and colder days. Meanwhile, the southern half of the country from California to Florida is likely to see a warmer than average winter. That means fewer freezes and a longer growing season in the south. Remember, these are broad trends. Cold snaps can still hit the south, and the north can get a brief thaw. La Niña stacks the deck for a cold north and a warm south. It's all about the overall character of the season. Let's zoom in on the northern tier, where La Niña brings real winter. The Pacific Northwest, including Washington and Oregon, will see more storms and colder air, with lower snow levels in the mountains. Moving east, the Northern Rockies and Northern Plains, Montana, North Dakota and more, are in the path of Arctic air, bringing bitter cold and wind chills. The upper Midwest and Great Lakes like Minnesota and Michigan can expect both colder temps and significant snowfall, especially lake-effect snow. Even interior New England and upstate New York could see sharp cold fronts. The message? The northern third of the country should prepare for a colder, snowier winter. Time to find those hats and gloves. La Niña means a classic, tough winter up north. Now let's head south, where La Niña brings a different story. A strong ridge of high pressure keeps the southern U.S., from California to the Carolinas, warmer and drier than usual. The Southwest, including Arizona and Southern California, will see mild, sunny days but worsening drought. The Southern Plains and Deep South, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Florida, can expect fewer cold fronts and more comfortable temperatures. The Bermuda High often reinforces this warm, dry pattern in the southeast. For many it's a winter retreat, but the lack of rain is a serious concern. Pleasant weather comes at the cost of drought risk. La Niña means sunshine, but also water worries. Temperature is only half the story. Let's talk precipitation. La Niña's jet stream brings more storms and rain to the Pacific Northwest and Northern California, plus heavy mountain snow. This is great for ski resorts and water supplies, but keep that raincoat handy in Seattle and Portland. The stormy pattern extends east to the Northern Rockies, upper Midwest and Great Lakes, bringing snow and lake-effect storms. The Ohio and Tennessee valleys can also see a battleground of rain, ice and snow where cold and warm air clash. The exact storm track can shift, but these regions are in for an active, messy winter. For the north, it's not just cold, it's wet and snowy. Travel could get tricky, so be prepared. While the north gets soaked, the south faces a dry spell. High pressure blocks storms and moisture, leaving the southern tier, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and Florida, much drier than normal. For drought-prone areas, this is bad news. Less rain means lower reservoirs, poor snowpack, and higher wildfire risk. The dry pattern stretches from the southwest to the southeast, threatening crops, water supplies, and increasing fire danger. Even the southeast, including Georgia and the Carolinas, faces a risk of flash drought and wildfires. Pleasant winter weather can quickly turn into a serious problem. La Niña's dry south is a major concern for water and fire officials. Stay alert for drought and fire warnings. So, how confident are we in this La Niña forecast? It's a question that comes up every season, especially when so much depends on the weather, from travel plans to farming and even just picking out what to wear. Forecasting the climate months in advance is a complex science, but it's not just guesswork. Meteorologists use a combination of historical data, advanced computer models, and real-time observations to make their predictions. Scientists at NOAA say a moderate La Niña is likely, which means high confidence in the broad patterns: cold in the north, warm in the south, wet in the northwest, and dry in the south. These broad strokes are based on years of research and a deep understanding of how ocean temperatures influence our atmosphere. These signals are reliable based on decades of climate data and models. The science behind these forecasts is constantly improving, with new technology allowing for more accurate and detailed predictions than ever before. Still, Even with all this data, there's always a margin of uncertainty. But weather is never a guarantee. Other patterns, like the Arctic Oscillation, can shake things up for a week or two. These unpredictable shifts can temporarily override the expected trends, bringing sudden cold snaps or unexpected warmth. Seasonal forecasts show the big picture, but day-to-day weather will still vary. Think of it like a road map. You know the general direction, but there might be detours along the way. Local conditions, short-term weather systems, and even geography can all play a role in what you actually experience. A dry winter in the south doesn't mean zero rain, and a cold north can still have mild spells. There will always be exceptions to the rule, and no two winters are exactly alike. That's why it's important to remember that forecasts are about probabilities, not promises. We're confident in the overall script, but surprises can happen. Sometimes the atmosphere throws a curveball, and meteorologists have to adjust their outlooks as new data comes in. That's why it's always smart to stay tuned to local forecasts for the details. Your local meteorologist can provide updates on short-term changes and help you plan for whatever comes your way. In the end, Mother Nature always has a few tricks up her sleeve, reminding us to expect the unexpected and stay prepared for whatever the season brings. To wrap up, La Niña is the headline for winter 2025-26. Expect a colder, snowier season in the north. Get your winter gear ready. The south will be warmer and drier, but that means higher drought and wildfire risks. It's a season of weather extremes, haves and have-nots for both cold and precipitation. Remember, this is a seasonal outlook. The day-to-day weather will still surprise us. Stay tuned to your local forecasts for updates. Being prepared is key, whether it's salt for the driveway or water conservation. Understanding La Niña helps us all plan ahead. We'll be tracking it all winter. Stay safe and ready for whatever comes.